So we spent one day in Seattle, and here is the vlog and compilation of all the videos I took.
Yeah, I mean the airport was very narrow, I guess, is the best way to describe it. A lot of the bathrooms were kind of poorly designed, it felt like. You know?
Oh yeah, that's true. The bathrooms are kind of whack, but why are we talking about bathrooms? When we went to the airport, it was nice when you exit out of the actual departure area because you can see these airplanes. There's nice lighting too. And here I'm going to show you how to go to the ground transportation if you're not taking an Uber to the main downtown areas. So you have to like cross through this tunnel, and it's actually a long walk. Light rail.
I will give them credit. A lot of it is very marked out, like as you can see here with the 4 and the coloring.
If you look at the signage, it will list out Link Light Rail, and that's where you should be heading to see this station, the train station, basically the metro in Seattle. So it's a bit of a walk, but you will eventually get there after you pass the parking garage. Then continue walking, you'll find the ticket booth area where you buy your tickets.
Tickets, they provide like 1 day full ticket. You can just take multiple rides, you know, in the same day. So if you're that sort of person that likes to move around a lot, there's a lot of potential with the passes.
And for us, we spent $13 per person. That's basically the day pass for riding around Seattle.
I'm assuming this is kind of a similar experience with all other like transportation. I mean, here in the Bay Area we have like BART and that
yeah, I don't think there's any
really
like day passes for BART, but yeah, you get an Orca card, which is also a nice souvenir if this is like your first time in Seattle. And I was actually surprised with the transportation here because it's really clean once you get on the train compared to at least the Bay Area Rapid Transit. But yeah, since we wanted to go toward the downtown area, we had to exit at Westlake. And then there's actually not a stop that goes directly to the Space Needle, so there's like a separate, different
Yeah, you have to take another
transit
line
system.
or just like a bus sort of.
But yeah, the day pass
Monorail
covers that too, so you don't need to worry about spending more money on that. Wow, there's so many trees in Seattle.
I mean, yeah, that was kind of the big point, at least on the initial like ride through. I think I'm confusing this with another location that we went to, but like, yeah, with Seattle, a lot of the how would you say it's seemingly good at on initial level, but I have a feeling with most cities, a lot of there's a lot more deeper issues that become a bit more apparent, like a little bit more, I guess, dirtier places, as in at least with the fishermen's.
No, it was called the Public Marketplace. Or yeah, it's called Pike Place Market. That's the first touristy area that we went to, and it's definitely very crowded when you go on a weekend, since a lot of people come here to take a look at the flowers and the bouquets. That's like the main attraction for going to Pike Place Market, for me at least, seeing all the flowers, the fresh flowers, and looking at all the markets. And
Also during our visit there was a lot of construction they were kind of like going through, at least with I'm assuming the more how'd you say it? In quotes, beachside area. Not really beach, but you know what I mean, like closer to the water.
Yeah, closer to the water, it seemed like there's more development going on. I'm not sure if it's like repairs of the roads. That's what I noticed. Overall, I really like the architecture here, especially like the cylindrical buildings. Those are like what caught my eye. And then here's a monorail to the actual Space Needle. It's not the same transit system, but your Orca card, which is the same ticket that we bought at the beginning, will cover that, so don't need to worry about that.
One thing to note is that the monorail is very bare bones, I like to call it, and that there was no air conditioning in that one, so yeah, it gets a little sweaty in there. Not to a point of heat exhaustion per se, but yeah, it was.
Yeah, the day we went to Seattle was May 20th, so also early summer. So it was a little bit humid. I don't quite remember since it was a little bit of a month ago. But yeah, it's really nice. It doesn't feel like a transit system to me. It feels like an amusement kind of a ride, since you get to see everything that Seattle offers. And it actually, further along this video, you can see it goes through one of these art museums. I forget what it's called, but it's called Museum of Pop Culture, and it literally goes through it right here. And I really like how you can look at the facade and the architecture of this building. It's very
bougie,
organic. Yes, very bougie. And this here is when you enter into the stop that is most near the Space Needle. And there's so many people out here. I was like, this is literally an amusement park. And over here, wow, picturesque shot. I was just mind blown. I couldn't even.
It was pretty neat. It's a pretty nice piece of architecture, though. I will say the tourism part of it. You can probably speak more on the prices there. That it's a little.
Oh yeah, we didn't even go up the Space Needle because of the cost of this thing. Like going up there. Yeah, it was about $50. Or yeah, it ranges from 60s. So we didn't really go up there because the line is pretty long. I didn't want to wait since we were just like there for a day or two. But yeah, this is inside the Space Needle, the souvenir store, and I was like, wow, I want to buy one of these, but it's kind of overpriced because that's how it usually is for touristy places.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, like, too much of the actual history. However, like I mentioned earlier, it is a pretty neat building, at least so far as the aesthetically, and probably my assumption is like the actual architecture of it, which you may be able to look into. Okay, but it's alright. Like,
it's alright. It's a pretty unique building, and it's pretty tall. I forget like the actual height of the building, but it's very tall, and it's not that hard to miss. You'll just find it in the skyline of Seattle.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if I was sleep deprived on this trip or something, like most of our other trips.
You're always sleep deprived, but there's like as soon as we walked into this area, I hear this instrumental playing. I don't even know this instrument, what it's called, but it was a vibe to hear this guy playing his instrument as we walked in.
I don't know if it was a vibe per se.
Vibe?
It was let's just say not very stellar music.
What? I would say the opposite. I was just like, it felt like Zelda for a minute, I'm not gonna lie. But then we explored more outside the boundaries of this Space Needle because there's obviously more to see. But keep in mind, this was a really hot day and we barely bought any water or just stayed hydrated. So we were kind of like
at our wits' end.
Yeah, at our wits' end as we were like walking around like very late afternoon in this hot, sweltering heat. But we found this guy playing his violin. Apparently he was in AGT, America's Got Talent, so it was pretty lit.
Wait, actually?
Yeah. Wait, you didn't catch that?
No, I just assumed he was a neat violinist.
He was a neat violinist.
Yeah,
just a prodigy.
Music.
I recorded this vertically, but I still wanted to keep it in the video, so I rotated it.
Professional.
Yes. And we saw these, what's it called? I don't even know what's called, Dr. Seuss looking umbrellas,
Yeah, I could
sculptures.
describe it as the plant, the trees from the Lorax, of course.
Yes,
This is
yes.
what they were trying to remove from the world, and now we see a full display.
And I actually took a few pictures from there. I say a few, but I actually took like a lot of pictures, like probably at least 500 plus pictures on my phone, which I probably might include in this video. But yeah, more places to look around. There's a concert nearby. I don't even know who was performing there, but seemed like a pretty low audience. So
I think it was. And it wasn't Zoom. It was like it felt
like
like
stand-up-
improv. It felt like
yeah,
something of like.
there was a stand-up comedy or
improvisation.
something like that. Here's more shots of the Space Needle, because why not?
Yeah.
And this is the exact place we went through
Inside there.
with the metro system. And again, the Space Needle,
God.
because it's so nice.
Gosh.
Kind of looks like a UFO if you took down the structure and saw only the top. And then I saw this thick seagull. I don't even know why it's so thick. They don't know what they eating in Seattle. But
Some wildlife here, yeah.
as you can see, it was a clear day. Not much clouds, not much rainy weather, so it was great. And again, the Space Needle. And this is, I forget again what it's called, but it is the Museum of Pop Culture. And we also didn't go in there because, you know, we were just there for a short time. And then I went inside one of these, I don't know, cafeterias where they're performing some festival. Very interesting.
Yeah, was this like you mentioned festival, is it like open to the public type of thing? It seems like it.
Yeah,
right?
it seemed pretty open. It was a warehouse, kind of. Then there's this very interesting water fountain, question mark. At first I thought it would be in a pond, but it was actually like open to the ground, so you can just cool off in this water. But I didn't get no change of clothes, so I was just chilling aside. And then we went back to take the metro system again, because we were just like thirsty for water and hydration, that we needed to go back and find somewhere to eat and drink.
Yeah, and I think everyone
Monorail.
knows just how expensive a lot of the foods are, especially in the western, or just like in any like big city, really.
But yeah, here is a skyline for Seattle. I know the Space Needle is hiding behind those buildings. But yeah, then we went back. See, now we're coming from the back parking garage and back into the airport. Perfection.
Yes. Very nice airport, as we said before. It very like I mentioned, it's a weird design in that everything's kind of narrow. Like, it seems spacious on this part of the airport, but a lot of it, at least in the, I guess, pathways, a lot of it's very narrow, at least in width, really. I will say that we did only visit like maybe like one or two like main things.
It's pretty interesting to see the buildings. I can't really speak much about the history though. But basically I planned out a one-day itinerary, and we only went to 3 out of the 7 places that I listed on my plan to go to. But if you were to go to Seattle, I would recommend you go to the Spheres, which is a Amazon building, but it looks very interesting. It uses like a spherical shape for a glass dome, which is probably a good spot for pictures, but I think you need a reservation to go inside there. And then another spot that we missed that I would have wanted to go to is the Seattle Public Library, which is also a very interesting building since it has a very nice glass facade. I will show a few pictures of that too.
just make sure to do a little bit of research as per usual with any vacation. But yeah, at least in our experience with that one day, it seemed like a pretty good enough place. I will say though, if you are planning to take an extended vacation, maybe not the best place, but that's based on our limited experience, as well as the fact that I think we only visited maybe the left side of the city.
Yeah, it was
you would
mostly
consider
just
the west side of the city.
touristy spots of
So-
Seattle, and you can just spend a weekend there and be satisfied with your trip. But yeah, how would you rate your experience?
I mean,
It's alright.
I mean, it's like I said, it is a city, you know. Admittedly, I wasn't doing any of the research, but like, my impression of it, at least with the Space Needle, as well as the transportation and whatnot, it was all right. You know, like it was certainly a little bit better, at least from my experience with the previous Bay Area rapid transit system. But I mean,
We're just trashing on this BART system.
Yeah, at this point, it's just we're not going to stop trashing on that system. It's really